This is Mike with CS Tactical. I'm here with Nathan Hunt at Zeiss Hensoldt booth. So I'm going to ask Nathan a few questions here. Nathan, I know we have the SSPG or GP here. Can you please give me a little bit more detail, because this one's a pretty intense scope here.
Yeah, sure. This is actually one of my favorite scopes in the product line. If you notice, it has a throw lever, quick release. This scope was designed originally for a German military contract requirement. This is the updated version, so it includes a parallax adjustment and 10th mil adjustments. But it actually has a cast body. It's extremely robust. What makes this scope really unique is there's an internal scale in the bottom right quadrant of the reticle. The scale follows the movement of the erector tube inside the scope. Now, what the advantage to that is, you got your two-man team, sniper, spotter. The spotter can call dope to the sniper can dial the dope without having to remove his focus from the target. The scale in there delineates from 1 to 10, just like the knob itself does. So you can precisely input dope without having to actually look at the knob. It's also part of the illuminated portion of the reticle, so at night, if you were to have a hard time seeing the knob, you can click on the illumination, see the internal scale that tells you where the adjustment is, and make your adjustment from there. It also takes AA batteries for illumination. This is a really unique product. It's been in production now for about a little over 15 years, so it's extremely proven. And even though it's one of our older designs optically, it's still very current in the market.
That's one of my favorite looking scopes. I really like that look of that scope. That's an awesome looking scope.
This is our SAM scope. SAM stands for Sniper Auxiliary Module. If you notice, there's a little bit of bulk to the base here. This is where all the computer and weather station is housed. This thing has onboard weather. It accounts for relative humidity, temperature. It has 3 thermometers actually. It has a barometric altimeter and a barometer. It's kind of cool how the 3 thermometer system works. What it does is it has 3 thermometers, and they're strategically placed. So if you laid the rifle on its side, one side is getting the sun beat down on it, the other side is not. You might end up with some hot spots on the scope for whatever reason. Well, what it does is it takes the most extreme one, hot or cold, and drops it and averages the other two. So you get a very precise temperature reading. This scope interfaces with a PC through Zeiss ballistic software through this data port, and that allows you to import custom ballistic information. Even if it was a Wildcat cartridge, you tell it BC and muzzle velocity. That's all it needs to know.
Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, it sounds like this scope can almost do everything for you but pull the trigger.
Well, that's actually, yeah, almost the case. The only thing you have to do is tell it the distance through the thumb wheel here and tell it the wind speed and direction. It makes all the calculations for you and then gives you a solution, a ballistic solution, through the field of view. There's a little readout there that you can see. Now, the neat thing about this is it has a click counter, an electronic click counter. And what the click counter does is it allows the scope to know where the erector is in the overall travel at all times. So when it gives you a correction, it gives you a correction relative to where the scope is set, according to 0. So it'll tell you plus or minus, and you could go from 300 to 500 and back, and it will give you what it does is, as you're putting the adjustment in, it counts down to 0. So what it does is it basically zeroes the scope for the specific conditions, for the specific distance, the wind, everything.
And going back over to the wheel, I mean, so you basically spin this and it'll actually like give you the distance? That's
exactly
how you
right.
program, put the distance in?
Right, so what happens is we have separate systems that laser rangefinder capability, so the spotter would have that equipment. He would tell the sniper the distance to the target, and he just rolls the thumb wheel to tell the SAM the distance. That's all there is to it.
And then he makes a correction on the turret.
That's right, yeah, and the click counter is going to tell you exactly where that is relative to where the travel is. So let's say you're already at 500 yards, so that would be 400 yards past your 0, right? So you're going to have an elevation input already in. Well, it knows that. One thing that's cool about this too is it knows exactly how much travel is available. So let's say that you are giving it a ballistic problem that is beyond the adjustment range of the scope. It will give you a mil holdover if that's the case. So
wow.
Yeah, so it'll tell you to dial all the way up. And another thing is it will give you an odd number of clicks for an even mil hold, so you can hold on an exact mil dot, not like 1.4 or 1.5 mils. It will give you an exact holdover.
Wow, that is amazing. Wow.
I'm really glad to get to show this because a lot of people, refer to this as vaporware, like it doesn't exist, but we actually have sold these.
Well, that's an awesome scope. Really looking forward to seeing more what it can do and see if we can see what it can do for us out there in the market. Thank you again, Nathan, for taking your time. And also, we're going to be getting some more scopes of the Hensoldt line to test out, so check us out more. Thank you very much.
Thanks.